You all must have heard about what killed Junior Pope. Of course, he died from drowning. But have you cared to know what transpired before, during, and after his death? If you think Junior Pope's death was ordinary, wait until you hear point 4 and 5. Sit tight because I'm going to take you on a long ride. But before we commence, I want to remind you of this guy's testimony. He has come outside to say what happened during the accident. We'll get back to him later. But first of all, let's go to my point number 1. It was said that during the journey, or before the commencement of the journey, this guy was seen ringing a bell. If you're someone spiritual, then you will understand what that signifies. It was almost like he had woken something in the river. Of course, he saved his head by appeasing the river. According to him, he poured Fanta, but he didn't say it in this light. He poured Fanta. Now, during his testimony, he said that the driver accused him of covering his view. I mean, he was standing in front of the driver and he altered the driver's view. That was why he didn't see what happened that led to, he didn't see the boat in front of him that led to the accident. Two things. This guy's testimony, first of all, he denied covering the driver's view and he didn't even say that he was ringing a bell. He rang the bell and that was awoken something in the river. And that takes us to point number 2. Junior Pope was said to be coming back from a shoot and him and others when this accident occurred. And they were not wearing life jacket. And you would ask yourself, who on earth would not wear a life jacket in that kind of river? But some persons were speculating that maybe they weren't really coming back from a shoot. Probably they were already shooting a scene when the accident occurred, and it will not be appropriate for them to be seen on life jacket. Let me think for a second. Let me buy that idea for a second. It might not be appropriate for them to be seen wearing a life jacket to act a particular scene. And that leads me to point number 3, standby divers. If they were standby divers when this accident occurred, they would have plunged into the river almost immediately and saved those that were drowning. But of course, there were no divers, and that was how Junior Pope and 4 others drowned inside the river. Point 4 is even more shocking. According to this guy's testimony, he said that when the boat capsided, he was holding on to one rope. You know that rope they tie by the bank of the river before the boat moves and after the boat has arrived, so that the boat will not float away. He said that was what he was holding on to, and of course there was a lady that was also holding on to him. So that was what sustained him for a while until help came. Now, help came. According to what he said in his testimony, he told them to take him away from that scene immediately. When I heard that place, I cringed. You mean you and your colleagues entered the boat, you were saved, and you left Junior Pope and 4 others inside without doing anything? People in that kind of river area, people that live there, most of them knows how to swim. Most of them knows water. Did you even for a minute ask them for help immediately? My colleagues are inside, they are drowning inside. Did you for once ask them? No. You told them to take you out of the scene. I can't even imagine me leaving my colleague or my friend in that kind of situation. How long does it take for someone to drown in a river that you had to go? According to him, he said he left, and later came back when his conscience could no longer hold. And that was when he went to report. You were doing those things, yet your colleagues were drowning inside. That was how this guy left Junior Pope then. I thought that was really annoying until the next point I was about to say. Now, when Junior Pope drowned, he left, when that guy left Junior Pope and others to drown, Junior Pope's body was later recovered from the river. As of when the body was recovered from the river, this was, I think, few hours after that guy left. His body was recovered from the river, and guess what? Instead of them to even perform maybe a CPR or something, they were filming Junior Pope, because Junior Pope's body and one other guy were the first bodies that were recovered when they started looking for bodies. They brought Junior Pope out. No CPR was conducted on him. They were making videos of him. Imagine the time that was going. After they were done with everything, they took Junior Pope straight to the mortuary, of course, with the others. They took him straight to the mortuary. And it is even more shocking. When they got there, the mortician that told them that Junior Pope's body was still lively. There was still life in Junior Pope's body, that they should take him to the hospital. And guess what they did? I want you to hear what this guy said in this video. Let me play it.
From river direct to the morgue, to mortuary. The mortuary attendant said that this guy never died. When they carry and go perform the ritual. If they perform the ritual, then they carry him to the hospital. We took this guy to the herbalist place, and the guy performed all the whole ritual and told us to go.
Yes, that was what happened. Instead of them to take Junior Pope's body or Junior Pope to an hospital, they took Junior Pope to a shrine. Someone ran into a shrine. They took him to a shrine. When they saw that nothing was done there, that was when they took him to the hospital. Before Junior Pope got to the hospital, he was already dead. Now, when the news of his survivor came online, I think that was in the night, something wasn't right. I didn't want to be negative, but I knew that something wasn't right. I said that the video of him being brought out from the river was showing that it was still daytime. How come his body was just getting to the hospital at night? It was when this guy later came out to say that it makes sense to me. They took Junior Pope to a shrine instead of an hospital, and that was what prompted the quick death of Junior Pope. Maybe others have died by then, but Junior Pope's body was still full of life. If only they had taken Junior Pope to the hospital in time. But let's come back home for a second. According to what is speculating online, Junior Pope is a very good swimmer. He knows how to swim very well. But what transpired? Why couldn't he swim his way out? I was asking this question, then I went back to when his body was extracted from the river. Junior Pope's shirt was torn. It was more like he was fighting with something, he was fighting with someone. Two things came to mind. I said maybe those people that were drowning with him, probably because they were trying to fight for their lives, maybe they were dragging his shirt. Maybe that was why he couldn't swim out. Then again, I thought about it. What if Junior Pope saw the river spirit and he was fighting with it? And it makes sense why Junior Pope was not able to swim his way out, even though he was an excellent swimmer. Let's go to point 6. If you know Junior Pope very well, you know that he has been in the movie industry in Nollywood for a very long time. I watched his videos of 15 years ago. So I was wondering how, if you check the scene of, this movie that he was casted for, did you see any other celebrities with him? It was more like he was acting side by side with upcoming. And I was asking, why isn't acting side by side with an upcoming? This guy has been in the movie industry for long, so he must have grown to an extent. Most times, when celebrities make posts, Junior Pope goes to their comment section and also make comments on their posts. Once, from his comment, I go to his post and I see that he wasn't really acting. I was like, maybe because I'm not his follower and maybe I don't really get updates. But when I went to check recently, Junior Pope wasn't really there was no movies, like there was no back to back movies that it was casted on. No, I saw that Junior Pope was acting more of skits, and I was wondering why. It was until this guy's video popped that it makes sense to me. Junior Pope has been blacklisted from the movie industry for so long, which means he no longer gets roles. But he had to survive, and that was why he went into skit making. Thank God for social media. He already had the fame, so he made good use of it. If Junior Pope was paid like the other big names we see in the movie industry, I don't think Junior Pope would accept that kind of role in that kind of atmosphere, in that kind of place with those kind of people. But it was as if Junior Pope was taking anything just to survive. So particularly producers in the movie industry, you see what your action led to. Why would Pope, with all his experience in the movie industry, ventured into that make it was more like it takes any role, it takes any job just to survive. What is even more shocking is the fact that the community where he died is asking that his body be buried there and not taken to his own hometown. And I'm wondering why. Could it be what that guy did in the river, the ringing of bell, pouring of libation? Could it be why this whole thing is happening? Right now, they are saying that Junior Pope must be buried in their community. And the question I kept asking is, could it be the shrine that it took him to or the libation that guy poured? Because a video of Regina Daniel's mother doing some incantations to the river goddess because of Pope had sufficed online. Could it be? Because what I don't understand is there were 5 that died in that river, so why are they asking for only Junior Pope's body to be buried there? Now, you've seen how each of them in a way contributed to Junior Pope's death and that of 4 others. Now let's take life lessons from all the stories you've learned, because if you have been following my channel, Let's Talk with Big Sheila is literally sharing life experiences and learning from them. I mean, drawing life lessons from them. And the first one I have on my list is I will tell you to prioritize your safety. Your safety should come first, because if anything happens to you, you will be the one to lose. Experience is never the best teacher, because some of you might not come out from it. My father had an accident May of 2023. Fireborne accident. No, electric burn. Transformer burnt his son. Guess what? The people he worked for didn't even come to ask of him. They didn't look for him. We're the one bearing the brunt. Unlike Junior Pope, my dad survived. Prioritize your safety. Because if Junior Pope had prioritized his safety, if he had held onto his ground that I would not do this thing, I would not go this way without a life jacket, maybe, just maybe, he would have been alive. But of course, if you look at it on the flip side, he knows how to swim very well. Maybe that was what gave him the confidence. It's a really sad one that Pope had to go this way. Such a promising young man. But then, you should learn from it. Not every experiences you will survive. Junior Pope couldn't survive him. I'm not blaming him. Things happen. I'm not blaming him. But you that is alive, prioritize your safety. There was one picture I saw of some. I saw 2 pictures. One, a teacher was seated in a boat, like one you're seeing on my screen. The teacher was sitting in a boat with children. You are taking children to a riverine area without life jacket. You a teacher that should be sensible. Then in this other picture, you could see that the teacher was putting on a life jacket. And he left the children to the will of God. If anything happens, oh, God will take charge. Let your safety and that of your people, of your children, of your husband, of your wife, of anybody around you be the first. Don't let people decide for you. If they think that you are being absurd, walk out of that place. If only Junior Pope had walked out, would have still been alive. Do you know what his death has cost his family? From the video he made, he said he's an only child. He had a wife and 3 kids. As I'm talking to you right now, I hear the wife is still unconscious. I pray nothing happens to her, because those kids, at least, the father is gone, which is very painful. They need their mother. I guess you've learned something from all this that have happened, and you make sure that you always come first, prioritize your safety before embarking on any job. Because if anything happens, you and your family alone will be the ones to bear the brunt. Number 2, know the people around you. It was more like everybody around Pope wants him dead. Because why would you leave a drowning man in the river? Because why would you take a drowned person to a shrine instead of an hospital? First of all, they took him straight to the mortuary. Why would they take him to a mortuary instead of an hospital, where at least doctors should be the one to certify him dead? Be careful of the people you have around you. Do they want you? Do they like your progress? How do they see you? How do they think of you? If only Pope surrounded himself with others that were really happy for him, that showed him care, that showed him concern. The people he was working with, where were they? I mean, the producer, the director, and other people that were not in that boat. Could it be that it was only that boat that was available? Maybe they told the boat to drop Pope and other people, then the boat should come back to take them. where were they rather? Pope died, but he died out of carelessness from the side of the producer, negligence from the side of the producer and every other people in charge of that movie, and wickedness from his colleagues. Who leaves a drowning man when you could ask for help and nothing will touch you? Number three, speak out when it is necessary. Because from the last video that was taken before the accident occurred, you could see all of them catching truth with the driver on a very high speed. Did anyone speak out? Did anyone ask the driver to slow down his speed? Because his view that was altered together with his speed added to what caused the accident. First of all, he didn't see the other boat on time, and even when he saw it, it was too late because he was on a very high speed. Junior Pope was casted in a movie titled The Other Side of Life. And truly, him and four others were sent to the other side of life.